Hey, it's Tuesday night, and you know what time? 7 o'clock Tuesday night, right here at Circuit World, East LJ, and you know what time that is? It's Gilmer Bobcats Turf Talk. Yes, we're here at Circuit World in East LJ. With me tonight on the couch is head coach Jason Galt. Coach Luck is the wide receivers coach. Kel Kiker is with us tonight here. He is safety and running back. Cameron Engler, linebacker, fullback. Damian McHugh is the punter, and Tyson Elliott the center. So glad to have everybody here tonight. Bobcats coming off a tough loss up in Union, 36-16 to the Union Panthers up there. Coach, thanks for being here tonight. Let's start into that kind of game. And when I say that kind of game, 6 minutes into the second quarter, we had a terrible storm. So we're not even into the second quarter. We got 6 minutes left. Terrible storm. Good 45-minute delay. I think we got out of there 12:05 as far as coming off the field Saturday morning. Recap that game a little bit for us. Some of the game plan and how something like that, a disruption like that, changes everything.
Well, I mean, actually, it kind of bode well for us. I thought they had a little momentum. They were up 9-0, and we got the weather delay, and we weren't sure if we were going to get back on their play again. And we finally got out there and were able to drive the ball down there. They came out a little flat, and we go into halftime, kick a field goal. So it's 9-3 going into the third quarter, and we're getting the ball back. So we're feeling pretty good. But it's always interesting when you have those kind of happenings. You don't know how your team's going to respond. I felt like we responded well initially coming out, but we kind of let some things get away from us towards the middle of the third quarter.
What are some of the things? What are some of the things that in the first 2 weeks, and especially this last week, that you're already breaking down on film and working on headed into region? We still got a couple more games before we get into region play. So what are some of the things that you've seen this past Friday night that you guys are working on as a unit, preparing for Cedartown?
Well, defensively, some adjustments as far as how we adjust to motion. We're a big man coverage team, so we're just trying to tweak some things there to get a little more effective, a little more sound with that. It kind of exposes us a little bit with some of their jet sweep plays. Offensively, we're still trying to find something that works for us. We want to run the ball, control the clock, but we just hadn't had a chance to really get first downs and move the ball like we wanted to. That's really it.
When you say something in the offense that works with you, your long passes work. I mean, the first two games, airing it out is working, but behind center, finding something to work. You're working about three guys back there. Wildcat, working three different guys behind center right now. Give us some of the ideals of what you're looking for to produce there.
Well, we're just trying to get the ball in our best players' hands. We're limited. We're very young on the offensive line, so we're just trying to get the ball to our guys and give them the best chance to have success. And our quarterbacks have been banged up. Both of them have. So. In the Murray game, they both got a little banged up, got a little hurt, so we adjusted some things for the first game. Then they were both able to come back and play a little bit, but they're not 100%. So for us, just trying to get some offensive success.
This is helping keeping them healthy?
Well, keep them healthy, but just a chance to get our guys the ball. If we don't have anybody that guy in between to get from the center to the running back, so we'll just directly snap it to them and let them do it. But we're just having some miscues up front with we're playing four sophomores on the offensive line. And when you do that, there's going to be some growing pains. But it's to be expected. Ultimately it's all about where we're at come region time. Each one of these games is basically a chance to get us better for the region competition.
We get both you guys in the conversation here. You've Gilmer in the past several years that I've been watching continually year after year puts some pretty good wide receivers out there. I just really, for the past several years I've been watching, no different this year with your wide receivers. Coach Luck, talk a little bit about your wide receivers, and then Kel, I want you to talk a little bit about playing running back here in a minute and safety if we go with that. Talk a little bit about your wide receivers this year.
Well, primarily Griffin Cagle has been our biggest target. He's caught 4 long touchdown passes.
Yes.
He's got very good hands, runs very good routes. And we got several other kids that can catch the ball well. We just haven't been able to get the ball to them. But we'll continue to try to run the football, and we ask our wide receivers to block first and then catch passes second. but we've been able to get behind some people and connect on some of those long balls. So we'll end up having some more people catch balls. But I do feel our wide receivers do a pretty good job of catching.
Oh yeah, I think so, and Gilmer has past several years. The names just keep coming to my mind of the guys that came up, and I watched Cagle last year, and it was very easy to see that guy was definitely going to make in a good wide receiver, much with other guys. Kel, talk a little bit about safety back there, being on defense, safety. What's going on back there on the defense?
Yeah, so their Union's quarterback, he's pretty good at like reading the option. When he'd pull it and keep it around the outside there, he's pretty good, and he's pretty faster than he looked. Yeah, so it took us a little bit to pick up on that, but we started picking up on that. Then I don't know, it's just different.
Well, I've always felt it's you respect the talent you go up against, but there's no reason why you can't match that talent or challenge that talent. But you respect it. So I did watch highlight of number 8, and was he a little hard to contain and read Friday night?
Yes, sir, he was. I mean, again, speed was just a little bit. Wasn't expected of him. He was real tall and skinny, so it wasn't really expected. But he wasn't really like lower his head and try trucking you. He was kind of try to get around the outside of you and take it upfield. But he was good getting north and south.
He was. Let's see. I want to make sure I have your name correct there, young man. I want to make sure. Cameron Engler, right?
Yes, sir.
Linebacker, fullback. On the fullback side, on the offense, what about starting to get some yards and some of the offense there starting to create some of the running game? What are you seeing there?
I think we just got to execute our blocks and stay on them. In the Union game, I know myself included, we missed a couple blocks, and we just got to get on them.
What about on the opposite side as far as linebacker there? Your defense has played well, and not that your defense has played well. You have 2 good defensive games. The scoreboard maybe does not reflect that, but you guys are playing well back there. Do you feel that unit's starting to come together?
Yes, sir. I think we are really good at putting pressure on quarterbacks, and I think we just got to keep contained and keep doing what we're doing.
Keep containing and doing what you're doing. What about on the running back side, Kel, as far as starting to get some offense working here?
Yeah, it's a little different. This is my first year playing wing back, so it's a little new. I'm still trying to figure out the reads. But, I mean, this week we've really just stressed just do your job. I mean, we break down on that every day now. And it's just you got to do your responsibility, and everything will take care of itself.
Well, we've got 1 minute before we go to break. I ask every week. We do 3 shows a week, and I get a chance to see about 8 players, and I always ask the same question of every single player. What are you doing this week? What can you do this week to be better, what can you do better this week? As a player, what are you working on?
Doing my job.
Doing your job?
Yep, to the best of my ability.
What about you, Kel? When you come off that field this week, what are you focusing on that you could do better, you can work harder on?
Well, this week their quarterback's really good. So, I mean, they're gonna be trying to do that read option, and they have like an ISO. So, I mean, being a safety right there on the edge, I mean, I'll have a big responsibility with trying to keep that ball contained as well.
Well, I like hearing that because I can tell you what, he studies his film, doesn't he? You study you study, Kel. I can hear that. We're gonna take a brief break. I'm your host BKP, and you're watching Turf Talk with the Gilmer Bobcats. I'm here with head coach Jason Galt. We'll be back after these messages. We're at Circuit World in East LJ. We'll return right after this.
The summer sell down is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with huge savings up to 16% off MSRP. Save over $4,100 off Malibu Limited, now just $19,500. Save $9,500 on loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT, now only $38,700. Save up to 16% off MSRP on select new Chevys in stock during the summer sell down, going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
Right now at Pizza Hut, you can get any 2 medium pizzas for $6.99 each. Get any toppings, any crust flavor, anything you want for just $6.99 each. And sweeten the deal with a Hershey's Triple Chocolate Brownie for just $5.99. Only at Pizza Hut.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine.
El Rey.
El Rey.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching Turf Talk with the Gilmer Bobcats. Yes, Tuesday night at 7, always live here. And we're talking with head coach Jason Galt and wide receiver coach Coach Luck, wide receiver coach Kel Kiker has been in with us tonight, a guest. Safety running back Cameron Engler, linebacker, fullback. Damian McHugh is the punter, and Tyson Elliott the center. We got Tyson and Damon on the couch. Coach, before we go to these young men here, on the offense, some of the mixing up of the plays, and that's some of the questions some people have been sending me, some of the play calling and the mixing up of the plays. What are you, as far as how many running backs are you using right now? How are you mixing up your play list?
We've probably got about 4 different guys that we're running the ball with, including our quarterbacks, and they run the ball as well. It's just based on the feel of the game. We're trying to just move the ball, get first downs. We've thrown the ball deep and had success with that, and we've thrown the ball short as well and had some success and not so much success. So it's just a matter of getting the ball in our playmakers' hands any way we can right now. It's not. We have a system, we have a way of blocking, we have all the rules, all that in place, and now we're just utilizing formations and personnel to try to have some kind of success.
Is it your first year as a center? We were talking about that in the break. Your first year as the offensive center. How's it going there?
It's pretty good. Most of the time I'm just blocking back, so my job's pretty easy.
Are you guys starting to come together as a front line? And I will say this, anytime Coach talks about having a young front line, anytime you start putting some new guys in the mix up on the front line, or sometimes it takes a little bit to come together. You guys starting to come together on that front line, do you think?
I feel like we're getting close to getting there. Right now we're still making a lot of mistakes, and once we can start cutting those down, everything should start running real smooth.
Start opening it up, get those running backs out there, put some yards up, right? You are the punter,
yes, sir.
Right? McHugh, right?
Yes,
Did
sir.
I get that right? You might be punting a little too much, but how do you too many times? But,
I would agree with
huh?
that.
Would you agree with
Yes,
that?
sir.
How's it going? You talked about punting last week and enjoying it. How's it going?
Well, I had a couple bad ones this week, but of course we're trying to cut down on number of times we have to punt, but anytime we have to punt, I'm going to do my best to get it out there. Try to flip the field make it easier on the defense.
Well, I asked this question to the other guys. I want to get this now because you guys are finding your way in some things. Okay, you're a good football team. You're a good football team. You have quality talent on the field. And sometimes sometimes you just have to find your way. What are you working on? You just mentioned that, so I want to bring that up now. What are you working on this week that you can do better? What do you think you're working on personally yourself?
Well, last week I had 2 penalties on myself, so I definitely want to try, do my job, but not to have those kind of mistakes. Those are the kind of mistakes we can't have ever.
Well, a lot of times I'll hear coaches that get further into the season and they start talking about missed assignments, and they keep an eye on missed assignments, and you want to always cut down throughout the year. You want to start seeing those missed assignments, dwindle basically hopefully to nothing in a game. How about yourself? What can you work on this week, and what are you working on personally to do better?
Well, trying to get in a lot more on scout team, try to give the guys a better look, make them better, make me better, playing against starting players, and just trying to get better.
I got it. Cedartown this week. Cedartown, let me just say this. Cedartown, you're at home Friday night. Cedartown comes to town. They lost 29-22 to Piedmont over in Alabama, and they have one win on the books, 35-7 over Rockmart. So they're 1-1 coming to town this week. What do you see with Cedartown that you're looking at this week, Coach?
Well, they're not real flashy as far as what they do. They're going to line up in the I formation and try to run the ball off tackle. And they had a real athletic quarterback, good sized kid, some hard nosed, offensive defensive line. Their defensive line's pretty good size. And they're just good old fashioned, high school Georgia football team. They just want to line up, and they're not trying to trick you. They're trying to run at you and try to not make mistakes. And kind of a lot like I envision us being, lining up and here we come. You got to stop it. It's pro I. It's nothing flashy, but they've got some guys that are pretty good. They got some athletic ability, so it's gonna be a challenge for us. But if we can execute the game plan, control the clock, keep their offense off the field, then I like our chances.
Well, we didn't play Cedartown last year. I think it was the year before last. It's been a couple years since they've been in. Well, they're not in the region, but it's been a couple years since Gilmer played Cedartown, and I have on video. I got to break direction. I have Nick Chubb's 100th high school touchdown on video, so I was in the end zone that night over there. But keep in mind, Gilmer Bobcats won that game, even though he has his 100th touchdown. And keep in mind, Gilmer Bobcats is the only team that held Nick Chubb to under 100 yards in his high school career, right? So Cedartown better remember that coming over here. Maybe I better shut up, right? Maybe I better shut up. I remember that game. Coach, wide receivers, working on your wide receivers, going into game 3, what are some of the things that you're seeing coming up against Cedartown with their secondary that you're working on this week? You got some great guys going down the field to go after the football.
I think they're very athletic. You got some kids that can run real well. They're going to play us some man coverage as well, maybe mix it up a little bit. For us, again, we've got to block first. I mean, I talk to our kids about blocking first and catching ball second, and I really stress that. So we got to do a better job of blocking on the perimeter, and when balls are thrown our way, wherever they are, if they're catchable, we got to catch it. We just got to make plays. And as Coach said, we've been able to do that with Griffin, get the ball in his hands. He's quick enough, and he can run by some people. So we just got to get the ball in his hands and allow him to do what he's capable of doing. But as much as anything, we just got to make sure that we have a hat on a hat when we're running football, whether it's inside or outside. We've got to do our job. We just can't line up out there and expect to only catch passes.
You know what, Coach, both of you jump in on this either way. Game 1, David Smith aired the ball out for 2 touchdowns, and then this past week, Tyler Bunton, I make sure I always get the young man's name right, he aired 2 out. You got 2 guys that can really launch the football. Are they getting some good work time with those wide receivers? Are they starting to connect as far as with those guys in practice?
I mean, I think so. I mean, both of them. I mean, Tyler's a starting quarterback. He's a senior. He's a starter. I mean, but David's gotten playing time because of Tyler not being healthy, and then it's just one of those things where we're in a unique situation. We got two guys that played last year, got varsity experience. David as a freshman,
right,
and now we're back, and they both have varsity experience. So we're in good shape with either one of them playing. I'm the type of coach that I feel like this is high school football. I want my seniors to play. I feel like it's their last chance, and some coaches don't feel that way. They feel like if it's close, you err on the youth and you play the young kids, and you got them a few more years. But I've always felt like I want to play the older kids. So Tyler is the guy, but if he's banged up, we know that we got a quality guy coming in. And when you got a receiver like Cagle, I mean, Cagle runs a legitimate 4.5 40. I mean, he can run. So that's why he's gotten 4, long touchdown passes. He's running by people. So we look for him to keep on doing that. And both of our quarterbacks have strong arms that can get the ball down the field.
What about the short passing game?
Well, we've tried it a little bit, and it's some of his work, but I think we're a little more accurate with the long passes right now. It's something that we spent a big part of practice, as a matter of fact, yesterday, really working on some short passes to make sure we can get our timing down with our routes and the quarterbacks throwing the ball where they're supposed to throw it. But it's all stuff you want to do, and it's all stuff we've practiced. We did it all summer long with 7-on-7. It's just a matter of on Friday night, can they do what they're supposed to do? So.
Okay, we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to follow that up. Some of the things Coach brought up there, upcoming in Cedartown. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching Turf Talk with the Gilmer Bobcats. We're going to come back, wrap up our last segment. Again, follow up a little more about Cedartown and talk to all 4 of these guys and coaches when we return. We're at Circuit World in Circuit World at East LJ here. Take us to break.
Hello, America. The first ever $5 flavor menu is here, and it's a game changer. For just $5 each, you can get a medium one-topping pizza, Wing Street Wings, a Hershey's cookie, and your other Hut favorites. A Pizza Hut pizza for just $5. It's the ultimate crowd pleaser.
How are you feeling, crowd?
Very pleased, thank you.
We do what we can here.
$5 for a Pizza Hut pizza. How can we not be pleased?
Good crowd today.
The $5 flavor menu, America's best pizza deal, only at Pizza Hut.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching Turf Talk. The Gilmer Bobcats here. Gilmer Bobcats, you will be home. Fans, come out and support the Bobcats Friday night. You'll be home 7:30 against Cedartown coming into play. Coach Galt and Coach Luck. Let me ask you this. I'm going to follow this up. And, you know, I have to ask because the first two games of the season, obviously, you have 4 touchdowns, 2 with one quarterback, 2 with another. But if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, all 4 to the same receiver.
Yes.
Okay, long touchdowns. I mean, what about these teams coming in starting to key on your receiver as far as putting some other balance into the offense? Is that something you're looking at and working on?
Well,
because obviously if you got a guy that's pulling down 2 touchdowns and he's the threat that's getting in behind, and I've seen that for years with some of the other teams where you got a threat like Cagle. So when they start focusing on him, you got some things. I know you don't want to tell them, but I want to ask anyway.
Well, you know, we're trying to run football. I mean, that's kind of it. So they're committing guys to stop the run. So when teams are doing that, they're going to leave a receiver, you know, one-on-one or maybe one-on-two, and it increases our chances for success. You know, if they start worrying about Cagle, then that's going to allow us to do what we really want to do, which is run the ball. So it's kind of a win-win for us. You know, we want them to not worry about as much and stop the run. And so far, teams have stopped the run. We haven't run the ball very well. We really haven't. But that's allowed us to get the ball to him down the field. So,
but if you
it's not enough yet.
If you continue to press the running game, and they know Cagle's out there, he's 2 games in a row, 2 touchdowns, long touchdowns. So you and they know Cagle can take off. Then they have to pay attention for that, and maybe you can open the field up a little bit.
That's what we're hoping for. You know, as we move forward in the season, our offensive line is going to get better. They're going to learn. I mean, these are young 15-year-old kids playing against 18-year-olds. I mean, they're going to learn what they're supposed to do and how to play at that level. So we're going to get better on the offensive line. We're going to start executing better. Right now, our biggest problem is not the teams we're playing, what they're doing to us. It's what we're doing to ourselves. You know, we're not executing, you know, what we're supposed to do, and that's on both sides of the ball. Once we start executing and you know, sustaining blocks and knowing who to block and all that kind of stuff, we'll start, you know, getting first downs and getting more touchdowns, and you know, it'll get a whole lot better for us offensively.
Defensively, you know, the not going back into the Fannin game. Fannin was a field goal, and actually they picked up on that punt. But defensively, and last week the scoreboard doesn't reflect it, the team's playing well. So how is the defense really starting to come along where you want it to be?
Well, you know, once again, defensively, you look at it, the scheme I think helps as far as playing against spread teams. But we're also very senior heavy on the defense. You know, I think 10 of the 11 starters on defense are seniors. So when you have that kind of maturity there, it really bodes. There's a lot of people don't like to really talk about it, but having those seniors in those positions really makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. So we're playing well because of the scheme, but also these guys are older. And I'm telling you that the game we just played was really good for us because it kind of allowed us as coaches to tweak a few things. You know, like I said earlier in the broadcast about us playing man coverage, that's what we do. We're a man coverage team. Well, they're running motion, and it kind of exposes us in a few ways. They hit us on some reverses and things that we weren't really ready for. That's forced us as a staff to create some rules and things for the kids to learn, you know, if we get the same situations to allow us to become a better defense. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise as far as getting us better. You know, are we playing well? Yes. Can we play better? Definitely.
The defense, and my words, Coach, just watching a good defense can keep you in the game. Now, and with some younger offensive guys, that many seniors on defense is, you know, coming along week after week can keep you in the ball game to where you can make those running plays work.
Give us a chance in the fourth quarter. As long as we had a chance in the fourth quarter, we got a chance to win the game. If they can keep it close, and we start wearing teams down, then, you know, we got a chance. You know, like I said in the past, I've won a bunch of games, you know, 17-14, 3-0, you know, 15-0. I mean, a win's a win. You know, and it used to be that's how football games were won. You know, you look back, and if you look, we looked at all the scores across the state the last 2 weeks, and a lot of those scores were 35-28, 42-37. They were big scoring, and you look at ours, and we're 17-14, and really it should have been 30-16. They had a kickoff return for a touchdown. It shouldn't have happened, but it was a fairly close game. It was a 2-touchdown game. So that's the brand of football that I like, that I enjoy, and I think a lot of people here in Gilmer like that brand as well. So,
Coach, you ready Friday night?
We're ready.
You've been ready for years, ain't you?
Yes, I have.
Huh?
I wish I could still play.
Huh? Well, if Coach and I had another half hour, we'd start going into those college years and those. I don't want to call you out, Coach, but I love to hear your stories, Coach Luck. You got a couple guys back there on there. Have you looked at their secondary, Cedartown? Looked at what you're up against. I know I asked you that earlier, but you've looked at that. So basically, and blocking, you talked about that.
Yeah, I think they're pretty athletic in the back end of defensive backs. And I think we're going to see some man coverage, and we're certainly going to see some zone coverage as well. But I think they've got a couple of kids who run pretty well, and they put them on an island sometime just to run man coverage. So that should be good for us. I mean, that should be good for us. But we're still going to try to run the football, and we're going to run to try to pass rather than passing to try to run. So our first priority is to run football. So with us doing that, these big guys have to block, and our little fast guys on the outside have to do the same thing.
Front line coming together, getting it together where we can get some holes and get some things going where the running backs can make something happen. Is that what you guys got to go into coming together on that front line?
Like I said earlier, we're getting better slowly, but once we start cutting down on mistakes, making sure guys know who they got. You know, we've had a couple problems this week with some of our guards not knowing exactly where to go. But once we start cutting down on stuff like that, we definitely will be opening up some holes, getting them running backs downfield.
Well, Coach, I want to tell you and the guys off the set and these guys here, I really enjoy your attitude. Stay positive. No, all right? Always stay positive. You'll always be okay. I like the hard work and everybody's attitude, okay? I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching Turf Talk with the Gilmer Bobcats. We're over here at Circuit World in East LJ. Don't forget, you come in here, tell them Fetcher News sent you, and on your first purchase, they'll give you 10% off here. So come over and say hello, Circuit World East LJ. Again, I want to thank Shane's Rib Shack for providing a meal every week for these young men and the coaches. And don't forget, fans, come out Friday night. That's at 7:30 over here at Huff Mosley. Come out and support the team. We got a home game. Cedartown's coming to town. And Cole, I think that's about all I got. Don't forget, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. Good Morning from the Office with BKP. I might give you my opinion from time to time. FYNTV.com. We'll see you later.